Here we go. Now it says recording. Remind me to convert the recording. Yeah. All right. Once. Right. Okay. Yes, it's been recorded. We're up and running. Right. Okay. So somebody else is just about to join us. So before I say hello, I'll wait for their name to pop up, and then I'll start talking proper. That's right, proper. That's good England, that is. Let's have a look. Who have we got? AJ. Nice to see you, AJ. Or hear you, should I say. Can you hear me, AJ? AJ's very quiet. Right, this is something I'm going to have to look into, because anybody that actually rings in on the telephone, they can't seem to hear me. Oh, I see, you've got the audio pin. I'll do the same for... Oh, no, Jerome's online. That's good. So it's just AJ. Right, okay, yeah, so we'll make a start and we'll hope that AJ can hear us on his telephone. Right, so the point of tonight is we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about how to talk to your group, which sounds a bit weird, but all will become clear. And we're going to talk about PrintCentre. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to PrintCentre first. Hello, AJ, can you hear me, mate?
Oh, hello, you alright?
I'm good, mate. You all right?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Fantastic. I've just told everybody else we're recording this so we can put it out to the district later on YouTube. I'll be emailing the link to all the DCs. All right, so look for that email. Right, so first thing we're going to talk about tonight is PrintCentre. So first thing you need to do to know anything about PrintCentre is you do need to get online for this. So I'll just take you there. Oh no, sorry, I forgot about that. I promised Graham Hamilton. Graham Hamilton is the UK Deputy Commissioner for Programme and is also in charge of all the things to do with Cubs 100 programme next year. Now he's actually going to come and talk to us, all of us, on the closing ceremony for the Grey Group project in January. That's quite a big coup to get this guy because he's a big noise in scouting. And the original plan was he was going to give us a quick 5 minutes, well, it wasn't even going to be 5 minutes, chat on the Cubs 100 on the start of every one of our webinars. Now, he's going to record a little video for me, but he hasn't done it. So what I have promised him to do is to show the Cubs 100 Lego little thing that we've done. So I'm going to press play. I'm hoping I've got the right one. If it's not, I'll stop it and try something else. So just check this out for 2.5 minutes.
Did you know that 2016 is Cubs 100? Yeah, I would like to have a massive party and everyone it should be 100 and it should have all you probably arcade already. One thing should we have a lot of party? No, have come over time. It would be a really good idea. What do you reckon Cubs was like 100 years ago? They didn't have a look promised. Yeah, probably. What do you think Cubs will be like in 100 years' time? There could be hover cars. I bet it'll be really interesting. I think Cubs will find out more about the moon and why it's got those massive craters in. No, we have like a minibus with a capsize. Because there's teams that this person might be not able to catch it in time. Lots of games. We get to meet with new people and people we've never met before, and we get to make new friends, just like they did 100 years ago. So I reckon. One more thing to say.
That's the Cubs 100. That's for Graham. Just to introduce it to you, because obviously there's big things planned for next year, but look out for your emails on that. So, on to the night. So with PrintCentre, what we have to do, you have to initially go to the Scouts website, which is scouts.org.uk/home. So once you've done that, and you've put in all your login details, all the usual stuff, you can see the tabs at the top. And one of them says PrintCentre. So we go along to PrintCentre and we click on that. And then you have to put your username in and your password. Now, there is one thing to remember about the password, and that is that you must put the brackets on the password part. Hang on a second, I've got a bit of feedback from somebody speaking. Let me just sort that out. It won't take me long. It's going to be... Yeah, it's Gary speaker. Right, okay, so back to the chat. Right, so once you've signed in, you get the main PrintCentre page itself. So all the cool stuff is on here. Everything in there that you can think of that you want to have a look at is all on here. So I'm going to go through bits of it a bit at a time. I'll come to Cubs 100 at the end, but for us at the minute I'm going to look at recruitment material just to start off with. Now a lot of this stuff on here is changeable, but some of it isn't. On the recruitment is not changeable, but it's still, it is very expensive, but a lot of it is things that you can use and download as PDFs. Now if I can get to some of that so I can show you, because that's the more exciting stuff. If we go to corporate materials, that's where most of the good stuff is that you're going to want to know about. I'll go all the way to the, in fact no, I'll start off with posters and flyers. That indicates that there's a lot of play in those sections. So we'll go to that one first, posters and flyers, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Now then, if you wanted to make a poster or a flyer, the first obvious thing is this great big thing that says L1 first, second L2 first. All that refers to is this lot here. It says poster preset. Click on that. You can change the names of what it does. A little bit later on some of the other posters and flyers, you can change what it actually physically says rather than just picking. We're going to go into archery. We're going to advertise archery. So once you've got that, so that one, this one it says, let's just put finding scouts, just see what it does. Then we put update. There you go, you can change the title. So you can change the titles, change to whatever you like. You can put down your group name, your activity name, anything you like, and you can start to make your poster. However, if you don't like the picture, maybe you've got a thing about, you can change image, show and hide image. As you can see, there are quite a few images you can pick. All you need to do is click on them and then go back to the top and press update. There you go. The new picture is there. It will be there. There it is. The new picture is there. Now let's assume, and I want to show me what the PDF is going to look like. That's what it's going to look like. And over here, which is hidden by my GoToMeeting sign, is the little grey box. And all you need to do is hit that button there. That'll save it to your hard drive on your computers. Hasn't cost you a penny. Now with that PDF, you can take it to a high street dealer and print out all these flyers all yourself, or you can print them at home on your own printers using your own computers. That's as simple as it is. It really is that simple, and it's free. Now, the good part about that is that, of course, but when it comes to doing something a little bit more technical, where are we? This is all our flyers again. There should be some banners somewhere. Let's have a look at the banners. Here we are, banners. Like say for example this shows. You can do all of that, and then of course in the same way as before, you can just you can change. Just as before, you can save the PDF, and then you can go down the high street, give that PDF to a banner shop, who will then make your banner for you. And they are normally, with the banners particularly, they're normally about half the price of PrintCentre. So it's worthwhile thinking about when you're looking at stuff like this. So all that says there with the GRN1 and the PUR1, it is just where your type will go if you choose that particular layout, with all the different bits and bobs underneath it, like the Cubs logos, the Beavers and Explorers, and all that sort of thing. All their logos can be added. And of course you can change the image again to anything you like just by clicking on any one of these here. And that's exactly the same as well for the sale flags. Sale flags work exactly the same on this website. You go in there, pick your sale flag, pick your picture, pick your background, pick your wording, and it all change for you. And then of course just save your PDF and away you go. Now then, that's at the more sort of group level. Down to, where are we? Hopefully I've got this right, certificates. Here we go. Now then, on the certificate side of life, I'm particularly excited about this one. If, for example, we're talking about the Beaver Scouts, we'll go on to the badge certificates for beavers. Now then, hopefully this will open up and not make me look like a fool. Now then, here we go. On this particular certificate, you can choose the beaver badge. Let's go. And it'll change the print to look like the badge on your certificate, to the correct badge, which I think is pretty amazing. And all you need to do is put in the badge winner's name, details, dates, signature if you want one. You can upload a signature and put it there, and then sign by title of signature like DC or group scout leader or section leader, whatever it is you like, and then print it out. And you can do that for free. You can get that, you save that PDF and keep it for free. And you can change the badge every time. It's exactly the same for the Cubs. Cubs get their own, they're all there as well. They do exactly the same. So if you go onto the badges section for the Cubs, use the drop down menu, Cubs Fire Safety. When it comes through, there's the badge look. It all changes. And it's the same as the previous one, where you put all the details in of the cub, who's it awarded to, who's it awarded by, all those details, signatures and all that sort of thing. And it makes it more generic and more personable. So it looks a bit more professional and it looks a bit more exciting for the person who's been awarded the badge. The certificate looks like the badge, which is a lot better than I had in 1978, which was like a tiny slip of paper with just some handwriting on it. I think this is much nicer. Now, when it comes to the other two, well, not the other two, but the other sections, the older sections, they've come away from that idea. You may agree or disagree with that, but they've gone with a more sort of grown-up feel. So you won't get a picture of the badge on there, but there's nothing to say that you can't make up your own. But this one, you can just fill in all the details yourself, what the achievement they've reached. You know, so you can put in again the name, badge, do all the usual stuff. You can't change the picture, but you can upload a different logo should you want to. So that's where you could put the badge in. Alright, which is just down here, look down there, you can upload it, select and upload. Alright, so if you've got a picture or a scan of the badge, you can easily put that up there if you wanted to do, and it would add it to the flyer for you, sorry, not the flyer, it would add it to the certificate for you, which I think is pretty good. So that's some of the things that PrintCentre does on that side of life. The other bits and bobs, when it comes to doing your recruiting, you can print out a load of the information graphics. Now this one's particularly interesting. I'll go to this one first, because this one you can change the numbers on it. So it's called a census graphic. Now what it's set up for at the minute is the last time it was updated, it's given us the numbers of how many people we've got just in this country. Sorry, so it says how many we've got. We got, you know, 536,000 scouts we've got members in the nation. How many girls, how many boys, how many activities that we do. But these numbers, you can change them. You could have that just for your district. You can say how many scouts you've got in your district and change it every year. You know, if you felt like that, to make it look a bit more interesting, or how many activities that you're covering, if you want to make it more interesting, you know, that sort of thing. You can fiddle about with this a little bit. And on the other ones, there's the Facebook image creator. This one's particularly handy. This was actually suggested by some Explorer Scouts that was handed into PrintCentre, and they took it on board. So all the background images that you use on Facebook can be made here. So basically, if this was Facebook, your picture would go there, your profile picture, and the rest of it would go behind it like a banner. So you could change all that. I mean, right now it says life changing adventure, but just as everything else, you can change it to, I don't know, Exploders section. I need to update that in a second. Exploders section adventure, and then you get all the bits and bobs as well. But you can also upload a background image to add to that should you wanted to, or add a cutout to left, right, side, bottom, none, all that sort of stuff. So it's quite changeable. And then of course, same as before, you go to PDF preview, save it, then you can upload that to Facebook and have your Facebook Scout group looking specific to you. It'll say your group, it'll say your details, all that sort of stuff. You can make all this yourself. So what else should we talk about on PrintCentre? Exciting stuff. Posters you can do, stationery you can do, so you can have your own made business cards. Again, you fill out all the details, same as before. We do thank you cards, but you can get them anywhere, I suppose. But thank you cards, you can write it up. It's all in our fonts, all in our pictures, that sort of thing. So you can give those to parents that have done above and beyond. The sort of people that go to load up all the camping gear and drop it all off for you. The parents that really do go the extra mile. But there's also what's good is you can update stickers for your Scout minibuses. You can make all the stickers here in vehicle livery. So all the vinyl sticker prints are there, which again you can just take down to the local high street dealers. We'll print it for you, which is all nice and lovely. We also do bucket stickers for your charity days when you're going backpacking at supermarkets. Again, same thing, write it all yourself, and because you can see it's flashing there, you can change a lot of things on there. Some things that we don't change, which will bring us on to nicely the next bit about House.T Group, is things like display boards. Display boards are meant to go around your building on the inside and make the place look a bit more scouty, or a bit more sort of in line with the things that we do. Now, we are all different in scouting. Some of us have different skills in other areas. We're not all clever at marketing. We're not all clever at coming up with ideas. So we've put that on there for people who just want to just download that, and it's just there as it is. And you just basically pick these pictures and put them on your walls around your scout halls. That's all it is. And that's really as simple as PrintCentre is. There's a lot of great stuff on there. For me personally, I'm more excited about the badge certificate side of stuff and the flyers and the posters that we can make ourselves. That stuff really does make a huge difference to our scout groups and scout sections. It really does help you do your volunteering and helps you do your recruiting and stuff like that. So it's real good. And of course, there's all the new stuff. If you really are struggling, you can't remember where I've talked about everything, the new stuff's here. So you can get to it a bit quicker. You can find all the really good stuff that I've spoken about right here. All right, just go to the news section. You haven't got to dig about for hours and hours and hours. It's all right there. All right, that's the stuff you're going to use the most at PrintCentre. And I'm going to go on. People choose everything with their eyes, everything. So the idea of calling it House.T Group is for us to just take a look at ourselves from the inside out and outside back in, and to be really quite hard on ourselves and be quite critical. And the reason why is because you're going to try and look at it from a non-scouter's perspective, or a parent's perspective, or even just a complete stranger's perspective about what we are. So the first thing you need to do is to take a look at our group from the outside. So we'd have to all get up, walk outside. Don't mean right now, because you're obviously at home, but I mean have a look at your scout group. Now, if you're trying to attract people, does it look the sort of place that's welcoming? Does it look like it's a prison block? Does it look like it's scouts actually attend there? So I'm going to show you a couple of pictures, three pictures. So we're going to go with, let's have a look at this one first. Now, forgive me for the picture being small. I'll try and make it a little bit larger. Now then, these are all genuine scout headquarters. Now this one here, I think this one looks okay. On first impression, looks okay. It's a nice clean building. Grounds are lovely and tidy, but I don't know who meets there. There's no scout sign. There's no flag. It could be just a community centre. That Brownies could be there. Cadets could be there. Even dare we say it, Boys Brigade could be there. We just don't know. So while it's a nice building, most people are just go and walk straight past it unless they've got a specific reason to be there. So that's okay. Could be better. Then we go on to this one, which I think is slightly worse. While it's a nice looking building, you've got the startings of these trees that are coming around it, which are enclosing it in. It's very, very open, and it feels a little bit cold. Again, no signs, no scout signs, nothing to say the scouts have a meeting there. It's just a building, a random building on the outside of a road. Then we go on to this one. This one, now, I'll be honest, I got this one off Google Images. It says it's a scout hall, but I think it's off Grand Designs, so I'm not too sure. So forgive me if it is off Grand Designs. However, it looks like an amazing building, but again, no scout signs. Doesn't say what goes on here. It could be an office block. Just don't know. This one gets a bit better. It is actually a converted church, and you can just about make out scout emblems in the corner here. So they start to get some signposts up, so people will know as they drive past. The scouts meet there. They might just drop in. we're getting towards where we want to be. And I've got one here for the worst of the lot. This one is a scout building. Believe it or not, we don't actually lock people in there until they die. This is the scout building. But look at the state of it. You know, there's a lot of places around in the country that are in worse condition than this. It might look really nice on the inside, but who wants to go in there? You know, there is a road at the back there. That's the way you get into it. But if I'm being honest, I think this is off an army camp. There's a lot of buildings and army camps that I've done scouting in that look like that. Uh, so I think it's probably an army camp somewhere that they've just given the scouts a building and they've just got on with it. But it doesn't look very welcoming. It doesn't look very exciting. It doesn't look like anything much goes on there at all other than torture. So when we're looking at our scout building, things we need to look for. Does it look inviting? Does it look warm and welcoming? Have we got our scout sign on the outside of it? And most important of all, is our scout sign up to date? There are some scout buildings in the country that still got posters up that says things like, "Come on, boys, join our group." Now, if you're trying to get girls to join, that's not a good start. You know, there's nothing wrong with the poster. You just got to think about the wording a little bit. All right, so that's the first part. Then we're going to go into, oh, that's what I meant to say. This is a building, a new scout building that's going to be built some miles away from here. I'm not allowed to say where, but it looks amazing. There will be a scout emblem built into the brickwork there. And of course, they've got the scout sign on the corner over here. But that just looks like, you know, it looks like a brilliant place. Now, I understand that we don't all live in affluent areas, and some places are better for crime than others. So sometimes you will have to put cages and bars on your windows, but we can still do something to make the building look nice. I mean, there's bars and there's bars. So anyway, moving on to the interiors. That's one interior of a scout hall. Okay, but it's a little bit plain. We could do better than that. While it's functional, it does its job. Bearing in mind we're trying to attract parents here, you know, I wouldn't really fancy that. I might help out, but it ain't that grand. So there's one here that's even worse. But I'll be honest, I'm tricking you here. This one's going through a bit of a renovation. As you can see, they've had things removed from the walls here. So they are actually going to do something about that. Plenty of light, which is brilliant. But I'll be putting up some of the larger posters that we saw from PrintCentre around those walls. And certainly getting some flags in there. Maybe some neckerchiefs and things like this hanging off the ceilings. That'd be great. But the other things about the interiors is when you walk in, most scout centres have the toilet next to the front door. There's nothing wrong with that. But so long as our toilets are clean and not smelling, or the drains blocked, is the tap dripping so much that it's leaving a sort of lime scale stain where the drip is just dripping and dripping and dripping, so nobody's bothered to fix it. Is it being used a little bit like this, which is a kind of storage area? You know, people are going to try and use that. It doesn't look exactly inviting. You know, particularly, you know, some people are a bit more particular about the toilets than others, and that just doesn't look great. What it should be more like is like that: nice, neat, tidy, clean, it's fresh looking. It's I wouldn't go as far as say inviting. You don't really want toilets to be inviting, because you're not going to have your meetings in the toilets, are you? However, you don't want it to be stinking the place out as people are walking in through the front door. That's that. Oh, the other parties, here's a toilet for you. There you go. Nice, clean, plenty of air. Now, I had a discussion about this some months ago with the DC, who was quite proud to tell me that after 30 years, a scout group in his district has finally had an inside toilet fitted. In fact, it was the toilet fitted. They didn't have a toilet for 30 years, inside or out. And I thought that was against the rules, but apparently it's not. There are no rules saying you must have a toilet in your scout hall, which is a fact. I know it's weird, but it's a fact. But there you go. So that's the toilets. Now I'm just going to go on to, there's a little fact sheet here about saying things about how stock to your group. So we've done have you got a sign, done have the contact details correct. Your bins. Are your bins tidy, or is rubbish visible? Now this is the sort of thing you can get the scouts heavily involved in, the scout section I'm talking about, maybe even the cubs as well, is you should be taking turns to wheel it out to the main road and making sure that at the end of the night there's a duty patrol or a duty six that makes sure that the bins are emptied, or make sure that the hoover's been put round, that sort of thing. So there's nothing outside. We used to call it areas. We used to areas in the army where we'd all get in a line and we'd just go up along the hallway, sometimes even outside, and we'd have to pick up all the rubbish that's in front of us. And if everybody does that, everybody gets like 3 or 4 pieces of rubbish each, puts it in the bin, and then everything's all nice and tidy, and it looks nice, it looks clean. If you do it constantly, it's always going to be tidy. Yeah, clean, tidy, welcoming. We've spoken about that. Toilets, drain smell. Yes, we've spoken about that. Is the area the parents waiting in welcoming, and can they see what the young people do? Now, we spoke a little bit about this at the weekend. Now, my thoughts on this is that the parents shouldn't be having an area to wait in. They should be in the hallway, stood at the back of the room with everybody else. Then they can see what you're doing. However, it's a choice. It's only something that I recommend. You don't have to do it that way. If they want to keep them in the hallway, that's fine. Just make sure your vacancy board is up there so they can see what's going on, and that the windows are clean and large so they can see what's going on inside the hallway. Some of them will be a bit curious. And then the ones that are looking through the window, make sure you make a mental note of it, because they've obviously got a little bit of interest. Otherwise, they wouldn't be looking through the window in the first place. So make sure you talk to them at some point in the ways that I spoke to at the weekend. If you weren't there at the weekend, by the way, don't worry. We've got a plan to do an engaging parents' evening around about the end of November. So we're just sorting it out for you now. So keep your ears to the ground and wait out for that one. So, do you have a notice board, and does the display look fantastic? So yeah, that's the usual stuff. A lot of places do photos throughout the year showing their leaders and the kids having a good time. It's a great idea. So make sure it's up there and it's up to date. So we haven't got, like in my group, there's a picture of me and a young girl, Cub Scout, who's my mate's daughter. She's on there as a beaver. She's like 18 or 19 years old now. The picture's still up. So just make sure you update the boards every now and again, because sometimes our activities change. For example, we're allowed to go paintballing now, whereas we weren't allowed to do that 2 years ago. So, do you have a volunteer vacancy board? If not, let the parents know you need help. Always ask. Get that volunteer vacancy board up there, or a parent roster or rota. The usual things, that sort of stuff. Is your kitchen clean and tidy? Yeah, this is often a hot potato, this one, because there's always somebody that uses it and doesn't clean it, and then somebody else gets the blame. Again, it's down to doing the areas, like we spoke about earlier. If you've got a duty 6 or a duty patrol, make sure they just put a wiping cloth around the surfaces, or clear away the used up mugs and cups and saucers. So it's just smart looking and tidy. It doesn't have to be so clean, with Dettol. You haven't got to clean it within an inch of its life. Just make sure it's tidy, so when people look at it, they don't think we're a bunch of scrubbers. Now then, next one. When was the fridge last cleaned out? Yes. Does the fridge speak to you when you open the door? If the food's so old in there, it crawls out by itself. Fridges are notoriously bad at smelling if they're not looked after. So either look after the fridge or just get rid of it. So, next one. In the dark, in the winter, do you have external lighting? It's always a good idea to have that, especially on your footpaths, so people can see the building. The amount of communities and towns that have a scout hall with no sign and no lighting on the outside, they don't know about the scouts are there. When you speak to them on an open day, you say, yes, we're the scouts. Really? I didn't know there were scouts in our village. Yeah, we've been here for 50 years. Really? And that's a shocking thing. People should know that you're there, so just light it up. Of course, this is all because you all got loads of money, right? So yeah, just light them up. No, what we're saying is get some of those lights, the security lights, that when somebody's walking nearby, it lights up. So then, they're going to fall over their feet or trip on the ice or wherever. So is it vulnerable to vandalism, and how could that be improved? This is all going to be down to your own individual groups on this one. There's things you can do. You can have a fence that looks secure and welcoming at the same time, believe it or not. Yes, it costs a bit more, but what you don't want to be doing is having a 20-foot high concrete wall that nobody can see beyond. So long as people can see it's a scout unit or a scout hall and that people can have access to it. I went to the one place. They were particularly strong on security, a little bit too strong. I tried to walk in to offer my assistance. I was due to go there, but for whatever reason, the message hadn't passed down that I was going to turn up, and they wouldn't let me through the gate. It was like a school gate. Then beyond the gate was the building itself. I never got through the school gate. There was a guy came out and he spoke to me through a letterbox in the gate. And he said, no, you can't come in. We're not expecting you. And sent me on my way. Now, if I was I know we have to worry about strangers, but that's what the DBS forms are for. You know, we're not saying a stranger's going to come in and have complete access alone to children. That's not going to be the case. The building's going to be full of leaders. So what they should have done was let me in, speak to me. If they weren't too sure who I was, then tell me that I'm sorry they couldn't do anything for me that night. Send me away with a form, an adult appointments form, get it filled in so I can go through the DBS process, and then of course speak to the GSL. What they shouldn't be doing is speaking through a letterbox and looking like we're just not letting anybody in. You're not going to get anybody to come and join you doing that. You know, we have safety checks in place. We are not looking after the crown jewels here. You know, let people in, do the appropriate checks, but don't go overboard on the security. Right. Are the leaders arriving clean and tidy in appropriate uniform for the section meetings? Another hot potato. Now, I'm ex-army, so I go to my section meetings looking smart. The other leaders, not quite so. And if I could have forced them to look smart, I would. But I can't. It's not in the rules. But what we mean by that is, if we look like scouts, if we dress like scouts, we're going to start feeling like scouts. So it's all part of the house doctor in your group. If the building looks scruffy, the interior's scruffy, if the scouts are scruffy, guess what? So's our programme. You know, and they're not going to chat many people. You're going to find it hard to get people in. So put your uniform on, have an inspection at the beginning, then take it off. You know, but put it on at the end for flag break when when the parents are in there. You know, we can't look smart all the time. I understand that, but there are some groups that give these scouts a choice whether they took their shirts in or out. As far as I'm concerned, you're tucking them all in. It's a shirt, but it's your choice. You know, everybody's different. It's flexible scouting now, but still, are we smart? Are our hands even washed? You know, I did send a leader home from my group on a camp. He turned up. He thought it was clever to walk around with a can of beer in his hand, which was bad enough because that's against the rules anyway. But worse than that, he thought it was a great idea to have a massive knife. I mean, it was huge, hanging off his belt. It must have been a good 12-inch long blade on it. And that's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea. So I sent him home. And these are the impressions that people get. When parents are dropping off their kids, to see that guy walking about with a massive knife hanging off his belt and a can of beer in his hand. So of course he was sent home. So we have to think about these things. I know they're extremes, but it's still things we need to think about. Do you talk to your parents when they arrive with their children? And where do they wait? Now, I did speak about this at the weekend. A lot of groups, they let the parents just come in, drop the kids off, and then leave without ever speaking to them at the start and at the end. They might say something when they hand a form out for permission to camp, and that's about it. You've got to break down these barriers and talk to parents, because they're going to be the ones that are coming in to help you. Just have a chat, friendly chat. Not necessarily ask them to do anything. Just say, hello, how are you? Have you watched the Great British Bake Off? And all, just pick something. I know nothing about football, but I know for a fact I can say, great game of the weekend. And it doesn't matter. They do the rest themselves. They just talk. So, it's always a good idea to have something in your back pocket. Are you easily visible to the local community, and can the premises be seen from the road? Already spoken about that. Get some lights. If you need to, put down some of the bushes and the trees so that people can see the building. If necessary, give it a lick of paint. Is your furniture clean and serviceable? This one's normally, yes, it is. Kids get the chairs out. We can give them a wipe down should we need to. Or are we talking about some groups have rest areas for their explorers with comfy chairs? It's no good if they're visible and the comfy chairs have got coffee stains in them and holes in them, so the upholstery's sticking through and stuff like that. That's not a good sign. It's not a good show. It's all about making things look attractive, making things look comfortable. We're not the Ritz, but understandably we're not a rescue shelter either. And that is about it for the House Doctor group. Now this form here, the House Doctor group list that I've got here, it's on the memory sticks that will be in your Grow Your Group bags. Now if you come to the meeting at Ross Park, which is in a few weeks' time, you'll have that in your bags. There'll be one bag issued to every group, so it'll be in there. However, if you do want that anyway, I can get a copy of it sent to the district commissioners should you want it, and I'll ask I'll ask the district commissioners to distribute it out to you. So that's all I've got for you on those subjects. So I'm just going to turn some of the speakers back on that are turned off, and then we'll be able to have some questions and answers. So who's got any questions for me? Anybody? Speak now or ever hold your peace. Nobody got any questions? Everybody's happy.
And I think you mentioned earlier about going over the Cup 100 stuff on the PrintCentre, and I don't think we did.
Oh, right. Yeah, let's have a look. We'll have a look at the Cubs 100 stuff. That's not a problem, because I've still got it up. Now, let me just move this thing out of the way for you. We'll have a look at the Cubs 100. Would be on the new page, and it's... Where are we? Here we are. No, that's not it. Yeah, what's that one? Right, let's have a look. Hang on a second. Let me turn everybody speak. I can't find out. In one moment. Come on. It's not giving me the option.
I think there's a link to it on the left-hand side there, just under Beavers Cubs 100.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sort the audio out. Hang on a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hang on. Give me a second. Where did I find it? Was posters and flyers. Infographics. No. He's doing some sweeping in the background. Hang on a second. There you go. You're all muted. So hopefully you can still hear me. Now let me get this Cubs 100 stuff back up, and I'll put all your speakers back on in just a second. New products. Where are we? Sports, rock, pull-up banner, certificates, challenge, billboards, congratulations. Should have made a note of that earlier, shouldn't I? For the Cubs 100, so you can get your certificates, invitations, posters, tent cards. They're just basically a card that stands on its side. Some bunting, should you want to put it up, although it's a bit pricey, the bunting. Twitter banners and Facebook banners, again, same as the last banners that we saw, for making things on Facebook. So let's get it up, I'll show you. So your profile picture will end up in the corner here, but this will be on the background of it. So on your group walls, Facebook walls, this sort of stuff, that will go up on there and look quite smart. Again, you can just go to, if you like it, you can go to HTML preview, and then you'll be able to download it as a picture, and then you can upload that picture to Facebook. So that's how that one works. But you can also get the sale flags here, pop-up banners, bags, which are nice, the logos, all the illustrations that go around the neckerchiefs and stuff like that. They can all be got here and brought out from here. And of course, the video that you saw earlier, download some other bits about. All right, so I'm going to put your speakers all back on. There we go. Now we're all back on again. So has anybody got any questions? Nobody got any questions? Well, I can't hear any questions, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the recording now. I'm going to let you all get on with your evening. It'll be 45 minutes, which isn't bad, and I'll be repeating the very same webinar next week on Tuesday. So if you've seen it tonight, don't worry, you haven't got to watch it every week. It's going to be no different. It's just I'm doing the same ones for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'll put out a new webinar with new subject matter. So look out for your emails in your inbox. Thanks all of you for attending, and I'll see you guys online again soon. All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank you.